The March international break arrives at a highly critical juncture. With the 2026 World Cup rapidly approaching, every single roster decision made right now is absolutely vital in shaping the final core of the England national team. The time for long-term experiments is over. We have entered a phase where the coaching staff must make definitive choices, striking the perfect balance between fierce competition and the crucial stability needed right before the biggest tournament on the planet. Against this backdrop, Thomas Tuchel has announced a 35-man squad for the two friendlies against Uruguay and Japan, an unusually large number compared to standard practice. Looking at the big picture, this 35-man roster has been constructed with a vastly different structure than usual, clearly reflecting his intent to expand the pool and comprehensively evaluate the squad ahead of the World Cup. Breaking it down, the squad includes 5 goalkeepers, with 16 defenders called up at the back. The midfield, featuring 8 players, maintains relative stability, while the front line boasts up to 11 names, creating fierce competition for attacking spots. But the most unique aspect of this call-up lies in Tuchel's entirely new operational approach. Instead of assembling the entire squad for both friendlies, he has divided the team into 2 nearly separate groups. One group is preparing for the Uruguay clash, while the other will report to camp later to focus on the Japan fixture. Notably, 11 key players are arriving late to get some much-needed rest, including stars who have been playing at an incredibly high intensity at the club level. Tactically speaking, this approach serves multiple objectives simultaneously. First and foremost, it reduces the workload for players who have been grinding non-stop throughout the season, like Bukayo Saka, Harry Kane, and Declan Rice, thereby minimizing injury risks and ensuring peak physical condition before the World Cup. At the same time, splitting the squad opens up a clear opportunity for fringe players, giving them the space to showcase their talents in an environment with less pressure from the established stars. In the goalkeeping department, England maintains their familiar framework, with Jordan Pickford almost certainly the undisputed number 1. His vast international experience and stability between the sticks mean his position remains virtually untouchable. Behind Pickford, it's a battle between Aaron Ramsdale and Dean Henderson, 2 familiar names who haven't quite produced that decisive spark to usurp the starting spot. Alongside them, the inclusion of James Trafford injects a youthful element into the squad. While Jason Steele presents a rather unique case, Steele isn't expected to see any actual game time. Instead, his role is heavily focused on training support and specific preparations, particularly for scenarios like penalty shootouts. The defense is where Thomas Tuchel clearly shows his intent to build squad depth. Names like John Stones, Harry Maguire, and Fikayo Tomori form an experienced central axis, alongside highly reliable options like Mark Guéhi and Ezri Konsa. Notably, the return of Maguire and Tomori shows Tuchel is willing to hand lifelines to previously doubted players, provided they fit his system. Out on the flanks, Tino Livramento, DJ Spence, and Lewis Hall bring relentless energy, raw pace, and a massive two-way work rate, which is absolutely vital for a high-intensity setup. This is exactly why Tuchel prioritizes versatile, multifunctional defenders over pure specialists. Moving up the pitch, the midfield is arguably England's most stable and reliable department right now. The core trio of Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, and Mainoo provides a near-perfect balance between attack and defense. Rice handles the dirty work of recovery and interception. Bellingham is the creative spark and game-changer, while Mainoo acts as the ultimate connector, dictating the tempo of the game. On top of that, names like James Garner, Adam Wharton, and Morgan Rogers offer crucial depth, even if their international experience is limited. These are the wildcard options Tuchel desperately wants to test during this window. Up front, Harry Kane remains the irreplaceable focal point, both in terms of elite quality and leadership. The biggest dilemma isn't the starting number 9 role, but finding the right deputy. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Dominic Solanke have been handed the chance to battle directly for that understudy role behind Kane. Out wide and in the attacking midfield slots, England boasts an incredibly deep and high-quality talent pool, featuring Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, and Marcus Rashford. Each brings a distinct flavor, from technical flair and pace to lethal finishing and creativity. However, this abundance of riches creates a massive headache for Tuchel. Having so many elite wingers means not everyone will get their shot. Balancing form, tactical roles, and system suitability makes the final selection process incredibly complex. But this 35-man squad has grabbed headlines just as much for the shocking omissions. More importantly, the most controversial decisions involve players who have been established names for years. The most glaring absentee is, undoubtedly, Trent Alexander-Arnold, dropped for tactical reasons. A deeper look reveals he simply doesn't fit the blueprint Tuchel is building. Trent's attacking prowess is undeniable. However, his defensive capabilities, especially in one-on-one isolation, remain a massive question mark. By freezing Trent out and favoring highly athletic, balanced full-backs like Livramento or Spence, Tuchel has shown he is utterly ruthless, willing to sacrifice a creative weapon to ensure overall defensive solidity. The risk of Trent missing the 2026 World Cup is now more real than ever. Similarly, Ollie Watkins is another highly debated omission. Despite decent club form, he was left out in favor of Calvert-Lewin and Solanke. This indicates Tuchel is testing different profiles of target men to find the absolute best tactical fit for his bench. Meanwhile, Luke Shaw's absence largely stems from prolonged fitness issues. But his drop in the pecking order also reflects a harsh reality: younger, more explosive players are actively taking over the left flank. Calling up 35 players for the March camp points to one brutal reality. Nearly 10 names will be axed when the official World Cup squad is trimmed to 26. This turns the friendlies against Uruguay and Japan into a genuine, high-stakes audition, where every single performance could directly impact a plane ticket to North America. The fiercest battleground right now is at right back, where the void left by Alexander-Arnold has sparked a massive fight. Despite the uncertainty, there are the untouchables, players guaranteed a spot barring major injury: Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, and Bukayo Saka. This is the irreplaceable spine. Conversely, several players are on thin ice, at severe risk of being cut if they underperform, including Harry Maguire, Marcus Rashford, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and even Mainoo. For them, every minute on the pitch is make or break. Looking at the big picture, this England squad has massive strengths, primarily a depth chart where almost every position has at least two elite options. This diversity allows Tuchel to deploy various tactical systems, shifting seamlessly from possession-based setups to rapid counter-attacks. However, vulnerabilities remain. Inconsistencies in selection, especially at the back, mean the squad still lacks a definitive final shape. Furthermore, over-experimentation in a short time frame carries the risk of destroying team chemistry, a fatal flaw in tournament football. Ultimately, this call-up is a comprehensive stress test for the 2026 World Cup. Tuchel's philosophy is heavily imprinted here, prioritizing ruthless internal competition, tactical flexibility, and cold pragmatism. There are no default spots based on reputation anymore. With this approach, England is marching toward 2026 with a completely new identity, forged in the fires of fierce competition. And that very ruthlessness might just be the key to them finally going all the way.